Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Logitech G930 wireless gaming headset. Now, this originally retailed for roughly $160 back when it launched several years ago, but now it's far more flexible in terms of pricing. You're looking at anywhere from $70 to $100. Anything more than $100, I would say, is too much, not because they're not worth it, but simply because Logitech is likely to refresh this line. But it does make it a good value because there are very few weaknesses, at least overall, when it comes to the G930s. Now, I haven't used them personally, but there's a lot of feedback because, as I mentioned, they've been around a long time. So what you're looking at is a wireless headset, 7.1 sound simulated. As you can see right here, it's pointed out that you have 3 different programmable touch buttons there, which you can assign to pretty much anything you like. They also focus on the 7.1 sound that I mentioned before, a built-in microphone mute light. Also, you can flip up the microphone in order to actually mute it, which is a cool, nothing necessarily innovative. It's done by other manufacturers as well, but a nice touch. It certainly lends itself to a more premium and feature-rich headset. 2.4 gigahertz range for the actual wireless capability, so whether or not you'll have interference really comes down to your network and just how well things will actually work for you. In terms of other things that are noteworthy on the packaging, on the left side of the box they do point out the 3D positional sound accuracy, as well as noise cancellation or noise canceling mics that mute when folded, as I mentioned before. 10-hour battery life. This is rechargeable via a micro USB, which is included in here in a hub, which you'll see in a moment. And that's pretty much it. With that said, I'm going to crack the seal and get this out of the box. And that's the thing about Logitech, as I've mentioned in the past. They don't necessarily refresh their product line that frequently, but more importantly, they do a good job when they actually manufacture things the first time around. Having trouble with this because of the angle here. But for the most part, I find that they get it right out of the gate. And when you get it right the first time, you don't have to worry about what your refresh is going to look like. So this has been on the market for quite some time now. In terms of what Logitech is going to bring out in order to replace it, I'm not really so sure, because certainly there's room for improvement. If you avidly follow the actual gaming headset community, then I'm sure you already know some things, even more so than myself, that can be done to improve the current G930s. But overall, from what I've seen, they really are a solid pair of gaming headphones, and at their newfound low price, which is arguably comparable to much less quality. In fact, the G35s, which are basically a wired version of these, now retails for roughly the same amount. So that tells you really everything you need to know. Now, there are a lot of people that won't be interested in the wireless solution simply because if you're gaming, wired is technically always better. Your instructions, of course, right there. Nothing else in here. And then we get down to business. Separate even more plastic. Not that Logitech's packaging is too cumbersome. There's no question. I've seen far worse in my days. But there we have it. So this is that dock, the base that I was speaking of before, which is essentially your hub for everything regarding these headphones. You can plug the receiver, which is right here. If I can pry it from the plastic. This is the receiver for the 2.4 gigahertz communication network to the actual headphones. So this will carry all of your audio, both microphone and 7.1 output through the headphones. You basically just place it right there in the USB port and connect one end to your computer, which would be this end, and then the micro USB end can be used to actually charge the headphones. So fairly simple. Logitech trying to make your life easy by putting everything in one package so that everything you need is right there with the headphones. Now, in terms of construction quality, these are plastic. They're relatively lightweight. I can tell you that right now. The button array on the left side, which is where all the action is, you see you've got the volume, basically jog dial right here, which is going to give you pretty good accuracy and control compared to traditional volume rockers, definitely far more precise since it actually is a notched dial. You then have a mute button, but you can also flip up the actual microphone in order to mute, as I mentioned before. And there's a light that will be emitted to indicate when you are muted, I believe, based on what we read, at least in marketing. G1, 2, and 3, these are all physical hard buttons that, as I mentioned before, can be assigned to customized options, which is pretty cool. And then you've got your charging port here at the base. Fairly solid cushioning around the ears, and from what I've read, some very positive and solid reviews regarding comfort, which is always critical. Another important thing is the warranty with Logitech, and as I've mentioned over and over again, if these go bad, this is one of the few companies that's going to just ship you out another pair and make sure that you're a happy customer. And in most cases, Logitech does that right. Most manufacturers get that part of the business wrong. In fact, I really can't mention anyone else who has that sort of reputation. We also have a layer of padding up here at the top. Feels like the same sort of padding that's around the headphones, but I'll report back as I use them. Nothing on the right hand side of the headset as far as I can tell. Of course, this is adjustable as well, and it even has physical markings there for the sizing, which is pretty cool. Yet another detail to indicate that you're dealing with something that's taking at least the headphone element here seriously, because traditionally you would just adjust size. There wouldn't be actual markings so that you could make sure you're absolutely sizing this properly when putting it on your head. So Logitech with an eye for detail there. So they look like quality headphones. From what I've heard and seen, they perform like them, and at this newfound lower price, they seem like an extraordinarily solid value, at least while you can still get them. I'm not sure how long that will be, but I expect the refresh is coming soon, because even the G35s have been discounted down to $70 on any given day, but those also tend to be able to jump back up to $90 easily. That's why these are a steal right now if you can get them anywhere from $80 to $90. Also want to point out we've got a power button right there, another part of the button-laden left side, and then what I believe is the Dolby switch, since this does have, again, simulated 7.1 sound, because you can just switch in and out of that mode. But overall, really like the look. Hopefully also will enjoy the sound of the Logitech G930s. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. And of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.